Hi, and welcome back to the show. Today, we have a very special guest in the studio. He comes all the way from Japan and has won multiple origami competitions around the world. Ferdy, I'm sure you have heard of the Red Sea Leviathan origami. Yes, he's none other than the world-famous Shinigami Origami.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Shinigami Origami.
Welcome, Origami. It's been an honor to have you here in the show with us today. You have been a worldwide phenomenon since you were a baby and now an origami artist. Your work has been displayed around the world at galleries and World Origami Museum. You even have clients such as Rolls-Royce and Ferrari. Impressive, I must say. So, Origami, tell us, what does it mean to be the best in what you do and how does it feel?
First of all, thank you, Ferdy and Nerdy, for having me on the show. It's really a great pleasure to be here. Being on top is a great feeling. Of course, art knows no boundaries, and there's so much more for me to learn in the world of origami. Being on top means I'm able to actually teach and inspire people to love the origami world, and especially those who are less fortunate.
Well said. I'm sure you had already achieved a lot during the past few years. So tell us how you chanced upon origami growing up in Japan and what inspired you to fold the signature Red Sea Leviathan.
For me, it's a very interesting story. I started out when I was very young. My mom actually had cancer. So every day after school, I would spend some time visiting her in the hospital. So I will always ask her the same question, Mom, when are you going to get better? She will always give me the same reply, soon I'll get better. So days gone by, her condition actually worsened, but I will always ask her the same question. But there was this special day where when I visited her, I asked her that question. She gave me a very different reply. What she did was she took out a piece of paper, she started to fold an origami crane, and then she taught me how to fold the crane as well. So after I'm done folding with the crane, she actually informed me that if let's say the day which she'll get better is the day which I actually completed the 1000 crane. So I got really excited. I actually rushed home to start folding origami cranes. Every day I'll spend a few hours just to fold the cranes. So on the day which I completed the 1000 crane, I got really excited. I took out the box and I actually rushed over to the clinic, and then I showed it to my mom. So at that point in time, my mom was actually in the critical stages, but she took out her last strength, took out my piece of origami crane, and then she smiled, and then she looked at me. She told me that she was really proud of me, that I should continue to work hard, and then whenever I fold a paper crane, I'll be reminded of her and that she's always by my side. Yeah, so that's the reason why my passion for origami continued to grow, and I started to fold different types of origami cranes, like in terms of we try out different things like your frogs and rabbits as well. And the reason why I actually folded the Red Sea Leviathan was in memory of her, because she actually cremated her body and I scattered her ashes in the sea as she expected it. So it's a memory of her watching over me by the seaside.
Really sorry to hear about your mom, but look at you now. You had won 100 over origami competition around the world, taught so many orphanage children. Your works had inspired many others to follow your footsteps. So that I would say you has an amazing journey for you so far. So I'm sure your mom will be very proud of you right now.
And I understand that you teach children at the orphanage. Let's say I'm an orphan. No, I'm not an orphan, just say only. And I'm one of your students. What origami will you teach me as a beginner like myself?
Well, for starters, I will teach them the most basic paper folding of a plane. So once you can see them playing around the plane, enjoying the plane, having a passion for it, I will move on to teach them to fold basic animals like your frogs and rabbits. Yeah.
So are there any special methods or tricks in conjuring giant and sophisticated origami art?
For starters, to fold such a big piece of origami, the main problem you face is to get a large enough piece of paper to start with.
Yes.
So to make it easier for you guys to understand, let me illustrate using A4 size paper.
Okay.
So we can actually have a lot of different A4 size papers stacked together and then glued together to form the big piece of paper to start with. So of course you need a lot of preparations to know what size you want to start off with, so that you can make the right size origami which you wanted in the end. Yeah, so the next problem we face is after you've completed such a big piece, you need to make it stand. So that's one of the challenges. So in order to solve such problems, some tips that I can give you is you can actually use glue starch or even acrylic spray to harden it, solidify it so that it can actually stand on its own.
Well, that is very informative. Maybe I will try one when I be expert. So yes, I see that you brought some samples with you in the studio. Can you tell us more about them?
Sure, no problem. These are some of the origami pieces done up by my student and myself.
Okay.
Yeah, some I've actually entered it inside the National Origami Competition. This is actually held by the Asian Origami Organization. So you can see over here, this is the one which we have talked about so much, the Red Sea Leviathan.
Okay.
And this is the one which I've entered this year in our competition. It's a three-headed dragon which I've done up. Yeah. We also have some different categories where my students have entered as well. So you can see this is one of the horse which is done by one of my senior students. And especially this is a beautiful piece by one of my senior students as well. This is a more unique one because it comprises of a lot of different small pieces of origami pieced together to form such a big piece. Yeah. And we also have other categories for more junior my students as well. So we can see over here we have this little pigeon bird over here. And even for the ladies, they can make stuff like this rose petal over here. I think this is quite a beautiful piece.
Yes.
And then we also have cute pieces like the elephant you see over here. And even for special occasions, you can actually give a special gift by folding such origami heart shape for your loved ones. Yeah.
So are there any secrets to great origami arts?
Secrets would be that you need a lot of passion and determination.
Okay.
Because to fold such an example of a three-headed dragon, right, it might take up to 3 to 4 days to actually complete such a piece. So in between, if let's say you have any small errors that you have done, you actually need to restart all over again to build the origami piece. So definitely you need a lot of passion, determination to keep you going in folding the origami which you want in the end itself.
Okay, one last question.
Yes.
What keeps you inspired and motivated?
For me, the biggest inspiration is actually, of course, the orphanage students. So every time I teach them a piece, I will need to spend a lot of time to teach them it. But once you can see them completing the origami piece and them smiling and having fun, it's a joy that they bring me that it really keeps me going. Yeah, so of course,
wonderful.
I want to fold a lot more origami pieces to show the world.
Yes. Seeing how Shinigami tells us he still intrigues me, Nerdy. So perhaps one day Shinigami will make an origami out of you, Nerdy.
Maybe you?
Don't go away, Shinigami will be teaching us all on how to craft a rabbit. Stay tuned.